I'm Liz Faublas, and this is Currents. Christmas just over 10 days away. That much time to shop, but more importantly, prepare for the true meaning of the holy day. St. Joseph's Seminary in Yonkers hosted 2 days of Advent lessons and carols.
St. Augustine said singing is praying twice, and we certainly get that opportunity.
The Advent lessons and carols is an aid to us to gain a certain focus as we start the Advent season, as we move closer to Christmas, to always be mindful of Christ's presence with us in our lives, no matter what we may be facing, so that we may be ready to receive Him for when we celebrate His birth at Christmas time.
Oftentimes, we realize that, stores are already, Christmas trees have been up in the stores since Halloween. And really, it's time for us as Catholics. This is a wonderful, wonderful way for us to kind of take a step back and to realize that there's a time of preparation that's necessary for the celebration of Christmas. So this night tonight, as we come here for lessons and carols, is a great way to start that and to start meditating on what the birth of Christ really means.
The seminarians have been practicing for months now on end that we'll go into in our presentation tonight. It's not a Christmas concert. Christmas concert would be totally different. They'll be singing Christmas songs. But Lessons and Carol tonight will call you more to listen to Scripture and meditate on that as we wait joyfully for the coming of Christ the King.
What's interesting is that here at St. Joseph's, we're a very international community. There are people here from all throughout the world, people from Ghana, people from Korea, people from all sorts of, all different parts of Africa. And so one of the ways which we'll see tonight in the carols is that many of the carols which we'll be singing will reflect the international nature of our house.
Here in the seminary. It was a group of different people from different parishes who were brought together by then Father Sorgi, and he brought us together to join with the seminarians in presenting sacred music at this season for Advent and Christmas.
Well, my favorite part of the evening like this is to see different people coming from all over the New York itself. There's people coming from Rockefeller Center, Brooklyn, and the Archdiocese of New York, just really gathering to pray together and to listen to the readings.
My favorite part of the evening like this is just welcoming everyone to come here to the seminary and seeing how excited they are to see us, the seminarians, and to listen to all the beautiful music.
And just to sing, just to offer that as a sacrifice of praise to God, to sing with my brother seminarians, to sing and to help everybody who came from the local community just start off this season right.
I love to sing, and I love to sing with the group.
My favorite part was seeing it all come together. Sometimes at rehearsals, you wonder if it's actually going to happen, but in the end, it comes off really well. I'm really proud of the students. I'm really proud of the Archdiocesan Choir, and to see it come together really well is the best part for me.
And when we return, giving back in the season of giving. Welcome back to Currents. I'm Liz Faublas. It's for a good cause and an opportunity to celebrate. We headed to Russo's on the Bay in Astoria for an annual celebration.
Today we have the annual Bishop's Christmas Luncheon. It's a time when we raise money for the children of the diocese. By coincidence, today is December the 6th, the feast of St. Nicholas, Bishop of Myra, which today is in modern Turkey. He was a bishop in the 4th century and was a promoter of understanding the correct relationship between the two natures of Jesus Christ, the human and divine.
Well, the three honorees that we have today are wonderful people. I know all of them. I worked with Monsignor Bracken for many, many years, and he started many of the development programs that we have in our diocese, the Catholic Foundation, which was previously known as the Alive and Hope Foundation. Joe Gagan has been affiliated with the diocese, has been volunteering for so many years. He's on our finance board. He's the chair of the Catholic Foundation for Brooklyn and Queens. And Joe Palumbo is a friend of mine. I know Joe for about 10 years, him and his family. And Joe is just a very generous man. He has a lot of faith.
The teachers, the nuns, the nuns are the backbone of the church, and they always have been, and they always will be. They're the unsung heroes. I truly believe that. But the priests, and they were always good to me. They were always there for me. They nurtured me, and I could never give to them what they've given to me through the years.
In addition to the honorees, we thought it would be a good idea to honor all of those priests and pastors and principals that are serving in the parishes that were greatly affected by the hurricane. Today, we raised over $750,000 that will be used for scholarships, and this year those scholarships we're going to direct them to the children that are most in need.
I guess the most important thing would, of course, be, all the kids who were affected by Sandy, and the fact that a lot of kids can't have the best education they can. And I know that it's really important to have a good school.
I feel like it makes people, they have better morals when they leave Catholic school, most people anyway. And I don't know, it helps you become a better person, better Christian.
Meanwhile, an opportunity to give to a hospital providing care to poor women and infants in the West Bank. It's called the Birthplace of Hope, and it's located not far from the place where Jesus was believed to have been born. I spoke with Colleen Murata of the Holy Family Hospital of Bethlehem Foundation to learn a lot more.
Well, only 500 yards from the birthplace of Jesus Christ, Holy Family Hospital is the premier maternity hospital and newborn critical care for the Bethlehem region, for United Nations, the refugee camps, and Bedouin encampments in the Judean desert. But most importantly, Liz, it offers peace and love in action in the midst of great turmoil. And so important is this work that in the year 2000, Blessed Pope John Paul II named Holy Family Hospital one of his top 100 priorities for the new millennium.
And I appreciate the humility of your answer, but I certainly don't want to minimize the work that you do. You say that you offer the best medical care in Palestine, even when compared to the services available in the Western world, and that's really important. How do you recruit the medical staff that makes such care possible?
Well, the hospital is very proud that we have recruited and trained native-born medical professionals. We have trained 90 midwives. That's the entire number working in the Bethlehem region, both at Holy Family Hospital and other hospitals throughout the West Banks. But again, it provides a steady employment and a fair wage for its 150 employees, many whom are the sole support of a large extended family.
And you mentioned steady employment, and you mentioned this fair wage, and I'm thinking we can barely do that here in this day and age, which again speaks to the work that you're doing there. How exactly do you manage? What are the fundraising efforts? How do you fund the facilities? How do you train the midwives? Where do you get this money from?
Well, in 1990, the Order of Malta actually took over the hospital from the French Daughters of Charities. And since that, in Order of Malta, just real quickly, has been around for 900 years. And since that time, its members around the world, in hand with other Christians around the world, and here we have the U.S. Foundation. You can visit birthplaceofhope.org. And we have generous donors here in the United States that give to the hospital's work. And without their support, we would have to turn away these mothers and children. And, of course, we don't want anyone to hear those dreadful words, "There's no room at the inn."
I have so many other questions, but I also want to introduce a little bit of history. The hospital did close in 1985 due to some economic and socio-political reasons. Blessed Pope John Paul II interceded. He enlisted the aid of the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, as you mentioned. And I should also mention, as you talked about earlier, that Pope John Paul II named Holy Family Hospital one of the top 100 priorities of the Roman Catholic Church in the new millennium. And I felt that that really needed to be reiterated. Do you continue to receive support from the Vatican, from Pope Benedict XVI? How does that help you forward your mission?
Yeah, and in this region full of misery and despair, the hospital is a beacon of hope and is serving as a safe haven for thousands of poor mothers and their children. And also, it's offering a Christian presence in the region. We have in this land of strife at the hospital in Oasis, where Christians and Muslims give birth side by side, and also the Christians and Muslims are working side by side every day, facilitating and witnessing the miracle of life. It's a true testament of carrying out the messages that we were given by the Christ child.
Colleen, tell us a little bit about the biggest challenges that you face on a day-to-day.
Well, I think the largest challenges is just in the area with the security wall and the different mobile checkpoints, and that's why the hospital really always addresses what is going on in the region. We now have a mobile outreach clinic that goes into the Judean Desert, traveling weekly, providing medical care to these communities living in complete isolation, no water, electricity. We also have the only neonatal intensive care unit in the region, annually saving the lives of 400 infants. So we really are addressing the high infant mortality rate and making sure that women are getting the prenatal care that they need during their pregnancies.
All right, Colleen, thank you so much for joining us. And really quickly, how can people get in touch with you? If you have a website, if you could just tell us within 10 seconds, how can people learn more about what you do?
You can go to birthplaceofhope.org and learn about us. And we also invite you to journey this Christmas. We have an interactive calendar that offers a special message each day of prayer and reflection. So we hope you join us in that journey towards the birth of the Christ child.
All right, Colleen, thank you very much. We certainly appreciate the work that you do, and stay safe out there. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. When we return, a golden anniversary for the church. We'll talk about it with Bishop DiMarzio. Welcome back. The Second Vatican Council, 50 years later, its impact on the church is still debated. To get some perspective, our news director, Ed Wilkinson, talked about Vatican II with Bishop DiMarzio. It's this week's Into the Deep.
Bishop, welcome once again.
Good to be here.
50 years since the beginning of the Second Vatican Council.
Long time.
Seems like yesterday.
More or less.
Where were you back in 1962?
Well, 1962, I graduated from high school and went into the college seminary.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the college seminary when the Vatican Council opened in October of 62.
Mm-hmm. And what was the expectations of what a Vatican Council was going to be like? I remember one term they used to use was, it's going to be an ecumenical council. You know, that was a big term back then.
Well, I don't know what people expected, and we didn't know at the beginning, certainly. Ecumenical council meant it was the whole church, the whole Christian church. And it was that. The Orthodox and the Protestants had observers, as well as all the bishops of the church were invited. So at that time there were 2,000 bishops, and now there's over 4,500.
Mm-hmm.
So the church has grown in 50 years, in population as well as bishops. It was an exciting time. I mean, everybody was excited. You know, we didn't know what to expect, and things were being updated. You know, the vision of John the 23rd opened the window, let some fresh air in, aggiornamento, bring things up to date. So they were the catchwords, and in fact, that's what did happen, but in a much more solemn way than those phrases, I guess.
Sure. And one of the most visible things was that the liturgy changed after the council.
That
was a big deal.
The biggest
visible
change.
Sure.
Right.
But the documents of the council were really the great, output from that.
Yeah.
Do you think that we've lost a sense of what those documents said, or do you think we're even familiar with those documents these days?
I don't think we're that familiar with them. I mean, they were groundbreaking, and they've formed the study of theology since the council. I was in the major seminary during most of the time, and the rector of our seminary was a peritus. I mean, he went with the archbishop. He was an expert on dogmatic theology. So we were getting back the drafts, and the professors would look at it and look at it. So we really followed it very closely of what was happening there. But once it was published, and it was a nice little paperback at that time with all the documents, you read them once, and I don't think anybody kept reading them. But today, they're foundational, they're definitive teaching of the church in council with the Holy Father. So they are very formative documents and foundational documents.
One of the things that Pope Benedict has been emphasizing is that the council was meant to be a continuity of church teaching, that it was not going to change church
Right.
teaching. Why does he feel it's so important to emphasize
Well, it's an issue probably more in Europe than in the United States, but there are many Europeans and many ultra-conservatives maybe saying that there is a discontinuity in the church, that the council was not in continuous relation and teaching with what went before. So the Pope Benedict is very clear to say, no, that's not true. There is continuity at every level in the teaching and the formation that was given. So, as I say, it's a little bit more of an issue other places, not so much with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have to be clear that this was a real ecumenical council, a dogmatic council. It was not just, as a pastoral council. No, there was real dogmatic changes.
Mm-hmm. And we really have to listen to what the council said. I mean, everybody has to, the Catholics have to follow the teachings of the Second Vatican Council, right?
Yeah, they do. And in the interim years, there's been clarifications of what the council taught. Probably one of the critical ones was Dominus Jesus, which was a document under the leadership of Benedict when he was at the Council for the Doctrine of the Faith, Congregation Doctrine of the Faith. He issued this where we recognize that Jesus Christ is the only Savior of the world. Some misunderstanding came in after the council documents saying that other people can be saved through if they have sincere faith, even if they have no knowledge of Jesus Christ, which is true. Mm-hmm. At the same time, other people say, well, you don't really need to know Jesus Christ, or there are other ways of being saved. And that was not what the council taught. That's one clear thing that had to be clarified and had kind of got lost over time. It affected our mission theology, how we were presenting the person of Jesus Christ. So that was, I think, a good clarification.
Some people like to blame the Second Vatican Council for all the ills that are in the church today. Yeah, they say, it was the council if we didn't change everything. Do you think that we really had to take that look at ourselves and change?
We had to change. I remember the seminary, one of our professors says, we were in danger of losing the gospel. Well, that's pretty, radical statement. But in many ways, I think he was right because, we had constrained ourselves with a lot of rules and regulations that were disciplinary, man-made, not as necessary as really understanding the gospel as the normative and the thing we should be following. So there was a change. The Holy Spirit came to the church and said, hey, it's time to look at where we're at. We're in a post-Reformation period, reacting to the reforms. Now was the time to be open more to the world, and I think we accomplished that.
Sure. I'm sure we'll talk more about it as the year goes on. Thanks again for being with us today.
Stay with us. There's more currents ahead. One of the diocese's 3 basilicas lit its Christmas tree with a big celebration complete with music and dancing, and we were there.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So every year we put up an 18-foot tree, and in order to light it, it's not Rockefeller Center, but we have local groups from our churches and our organizations and some of the just young people who have bands, and they come here and perform for each other, and then we officially make the holidays start here in Sunset Park.
We want them to hear our Catholic schools, St. Agatha's and OLPH, singing and see that our kids are here and let them know how great Catholic education is. So that's part of what we're doing.
When they finish singing or while they're singing, they all seem to enjoy it, and it instills a certain ethic into the children's lives too, that they know that they're doing something for the community and that they're getting appreciated for being able to sing and dance and whatever they can do.
Well, I felt really good about this performance. I felt really good about being a part of this event because not only does it bring everybody who lives in Sunset Park together, but it allows us to sing the same songs, to have fun, to meet one another, and to show that even in Sunset Park, even through tough times, you know, we're still having a good time. My main goal in life is to be happy, to spread happiness, and to show people that we can have a good time. Not everything's bad. You guys have a good time? You guys have a good time? All right, we're gonna sing another one.
We're a nonprofit recreational baton twirling group that goes beyond twirling, and we give back to our community. So we try to support the community by bringing a little bit of happiness to the people and touch their lives. My favorite part is actually seeing them get up and perform, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of behind the scene jitters and nerves and like, can we do this? And I'm always like, you just go out and have fun. So the fact that they came out here and had fun and were able to do this is just wonderful. If there's any way we could help out in a community, we would be there.
We do competitions and we do lots of things.
My favorite part of performing is that I get to be able to like help a lot of people.
My favorite part is I like to see our children up there singing and the baton twirlers. There's something about just seeing the kids participating and active that makes it a wonderful event.
Merry Christmas!
And finally tonight, it's an annual tradition at a Queens parish, a Christmas concert with a choir and a symphony orchestra.
You're ready.
What's happening here at Our Lady Queen of Martyrs Church here in Forest Hills is a tradition. This is a wonderful tradition, this Christmas concert.
This is a concert that was started by Monsignor Joseph Finaro, who's with us. He has built this up to be a tremendous Advent ceremony, which is a beautiful celebration of our faith, of music and song, and a beautiful preparation for the coming Feast of Christmas.
Church manages to present a concert of this scale really through the generosity of its parishioners who respond to our call for funding, and they come out. As you can see, it's a full house. They come out and support it. So we've created a, may I use the word, magic kingdom in terms of liturgy that has been just spills over into the Christmas concert and makes people want to come in here.
The concert has always been a part of this parish, but it's getting bigger and bigger, and we're getting better and better. And the audiences come from all over. We have people from Brooklyn Heights, Long Island, Staten Island.
You know, professional direction. David Close is a professional musician. He brings together our choir. He practices with the church choir every week and does a tremendous job with them.
Well, I've been participating in this program with the Christmas concert since the beginning, back in 1984, when Richard Pretzer, the former organist, started the program. I helped him get some singers and some performers and musicians and so on. And we brought it together because the then pastor said, I want Messiah this season. I said, oh my Lord, how are we going to do this? He said, he wants it. I said, okay, I'll help you, we'll do it. And the rest is history.
It's a beautiful concert, Christmas concert. They do the first part of the Messiah, and then we do a whole Christmas section after that as well.
My favorite part is the Christmas part of it, the second half, with the familiar music of Christmas. I love that. I really enjoy every bit of it.
Well, I think all of the religious songs in any sort of arrangement or in the traditional hymn version for people who love Christmas and celebrate Christmas and birth of Christ, it's fresh. You know, it's close to our heart.
I always just say that the hills are alive with the sound of music when we have our concert here at Forest Hills.
Definitely a great way to end tonight's show, and we really hope you enjoyed it. For all of us here at Currents, I'm Liz Faublas. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.